It's a privilege to have been able to work with such excellent co-editors and on a subject that is so important. With my good friend Osvaldo Feinstein, I edited the first book on evaluating climate change and development in 2009. And this gives me a bit of a historical perspective. First of all, it is great to see that climate action is alive and well and kicking. In 2009, we had a lot of interesting and promising chapters on evaluation of projects and initiatives, many of them at the community level and some larger scale mitigation projects. Climate change policies were just becoming established in those days. They were not yet evaluated. And in this book, we have a whole section dedicated to policy evaluation. And this is interesting reading. We see the emergence of these policies, how they take shape, how they integrate diverse perspectives and improve their evaluability over time. Governments are sometimes slow to take action, but the train has definitely left the station and is gaining speed. Whether that is enough to counter the risks of climate change is another question. Lee Kendall Nordhausen and I undertook a meta-evaluation of comprehensive climate policy and program evaluations, and this led to a sobering conclusion. While the actions to counter climate change are growing, becoming more effective and showing the way forward, other government policies and subsidies for unsustainable practices continue to outspend the positive action to the tune of 100 to 1. If this continues, we are on a doomsday scenario. Read our chapter. It is food for thought and sobering. We need to understand that it is not only important to step up our climate action efforts, but we also need to reduce and abandon the subsidies that cause these problems. Subsidies for fossil fuel use, for unsustainable use of water resources, for climate-destructive agricultural production, and so on. Despite this somber note, I believe that we will see positive change in the next decade. One could argue that these chapters also give us a view into the future. If you want to know what a sustainable society would look like, read this book. It is full of innovations and initiatives at various levels to redefine our world, to discover new ways in which we can adapt to the new circumstances. Many of these changes will in the end be more important than whether a government remains a signatory to the Paris Agreement or whether markets continue to be distorted by subsidies. Markets will transform. And the energy market is going through dramatic changes despite the efforts of the fossil fuel industry. Perhaps the most important glimpse into the future is coming from the chapters that deal with resilience and adaptation. If our problems regarding climate change show one thing, it is that the global community was not good at adapting society, the economy and the environment towards a sustainable balance that would be resilient to climate change. In our book, we have examples where communities and societies succeeded in moving in this direction. If you want to see our common future, read these. I hope you will enjoy the book.